Someone else who needs to tighten up is clearly the Black Lives Matter movement. They used donation money to buy a $6 million Southern California home under the guise of it being like a space to create content. Well, everyone has called BS on that because they're scrutinizing it, saying like, you got a big donation of $66 million, and then 2 weeks later, you went and bought this $6 million property. The leadership team, Patrisse Cullors, Alicia Garza, and Opal Tometi, they formed the Black Lives Matter movement back in 2013. These are the owners, and they transferred the ownership under an LLC that's owned by one of the other owners. Blah blah blah. It's like really like shady kind of dealings, and they weren't open about it. There is a report that stated that they did plan to report the property in a May 2022 report. So we just haven't hit May. So maybe they were going to do it. Maybe they didn't. But the trio didn't reveal any details on the upscale home when they did a taping in front of the property. So they did a video. It went viral. And someone noticed in the background that that was the property that they purchased, but they never talked about the 6,500 square foot home. Anyway, I don't know. The foundation has always planned to disclose the home's legal filings this May, and it doesn't serve as anyone's personal residence. That is what the foundation is releasing in a statement. I don't know. To me, Mike, I just feel like we're looking at, I had to do a deep dive, right? Because I already have my criticism on the Black Lives Matter movement.
Me too.
Not the hashtag, not because Black lives don't matter, but
the organization,
the network, the Black Lives Matter network, this entity, the Global Network Foundation, those guys. And I scrutinize them because I'm really thinking about $6 million really could have been used a lot more wisely to implement something in policy or strategy. And if you're talking about this property and you want to use it as a creative space or a studio, I mean, I'm looking at your Instagram. You guys have 6 reels. You have a handful of like point and shoot videos. Your graphic designs are like subpar. Like I'm looking at your website. Some of the pages are down. So like, if you're talking about content creation, like here at Converge and the Black Lives Matter studio, like we're crushing y'all. And we're a small team. We're an independent team. If you're getting $66 million in one donation, bro, like I'm going to need you guys to step up your content. I'm going to need to like you guys to really step it up in terms of your policies and your strategic planning and like where is everything going? It's a total waste of resources if you ask me.
You're right, and I know I'm looking at the time right now, but the thing that struck me about their organization, honestly, is that they formed a long time before 2020, and they were a small organization. I don't think that they ever knew that they were going to grow to the magnitude that they did in 2020. The first red flags that I saw with their organization in particular, when you're talking about Patrisse and that handful of women that started it, is that they got criticism in the streets because people were saying, you're doing all this campaigning and we're seeing all these hashtags. People are making all these donations and, it's our babies that died. And these are Black moms of kids that got killed. And they're saying, you ain't put up no money for no funeral. You ain't put up no money for nothing. Like, you're not helping us out. And at that time, their organization is on record making statements saying that that's not what they do as an organization. And that's when I was like, that's a red flag. Because if you're not supporting the family of victims of police violence, then what are you even doing? And that's the crazy part. Nobody knows what it is that they actually do. It's hard to find out what they do. There's a lot of people in the streets that do things in the name of Black Lives Matter, but when it comes to that organization, I feel like it's always been shady. And like the fact that they got this property, this ain't the only thing. If you look at Patrisse and some of the stuff that she's done, she started her own organization and she was getting paid to speak, and she would like go to Black Lives Matter events, but then hire herself as a speaker for absorbent amounts of money. Like, man, this is shady. It's shady, and it might be borderline fraud. I want to see how this plays out, man. Don't be out here profiting off of the death of people in our community and think that it's cool. Like, we need to come hard for these people.
Yeah, I mean, Black Lives Matter has really generated a lot of revenue under this whole movement, right? And they really cashed in. at a time when Black lives mattered most, right? When it was just something that everyone was really talking about and investing capital into. And so I would be a liar if I said I didn't think they deserved a salary for the work that they do in terms of fundraising and campaigning. But I agree with you 100% in that there has to be some investment into the core issues that they're talking about. Because if your mission is to attack the core issues for Black people and to dismantle white supremacy, what work are you doing in these streets? Right? Like, where is the money going in policy or into other organizations, your partnership organizations that are actually doing the work on the ground level? So I know, Amari, I know you're in this chat and we'd like to hear you weigh in on this, but
he made a comment.
Okay, here we go. He
Yeah,
said,
we remember that.
BLM told protesters in Seattle to go home and filed complaints against elected who joined the protesters, but at the same time fundraised off the protesters. Shady, bro. So shady.
Very, very much so. Very much so. We got to go to break though.
Oh, let's go to break. And when we come back, we're gonna